Hi guys, Erica here. This week I am going to do a video on airbrush makeup. I do a ton of airbrush makeup for weddings, whether it be small weddings or big ones. It's really an awesome style of makeup to do if you want to have makeup that is weightless, sweat-proof, and water-resistant and lasts a really long time. The number that they throw around is like 16 plus hours, and it does stay hundreds probably of comments back from brides and past clients that have said it is truly awesome, and that is why it is such a huge thing in the wedding industry right now, or has been for a long time, and it continually is. So if you are interested in seeing what airbrush makeup is like and seeing how I put it on, keep on watching, and I will see you back in a second. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and kind of walk you through what I do when I do airbrush. I'm going to go ahead and grab a favorite primer. This one is Laura Mercier Radiance, and it's got a little bit of a highlight sort of primer, so it makes the skin really glow, which is a nice feature for when you're doing airbrush. You want your skin to look really dewy and fresh. So that is what I'm putting on. I did moisturize my face beforehand too. And I am going to go ahead and also grab some primer, which is the Temp 2 brand. This is the airbrush brand that I use. It's a silicone-based primer, which is nice. And you don't usually have to use two primers. I just kind of like the way that this feels on the skin. And it's just a really nice primer for when you put the airbrush to go on top of. It just sits really nicely on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and rub that into the skin nicely. Smoothing out the face there. And the hairs. And this is kind of a small little clip of my airbrush setup in my studio. There is a bunch of colors. I had foundations down there, and of course there's my brushes and some supplies, products that I use for bridal consultation and this video. And on the top there's a whole array of foundations on the top, and then underneath are the blushes, and there's a little Temp 2 wheel, which is a concealer. This is my airbrush compressor and the airbrush gun. I use the Iwata Silver Jet, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the Temp 2 foundation, which was 005 Pure Beige, and that was the gun, and here again is the Silver Jet compressor. And I'm going to go ahead and put a few drops in there into the cup, and that is again the foundation. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what it kind of looks like if you've never had it done. And I'm going to go ahead and press down. I turned it on, and we're going to kind of just go with it, and you can kind of see what happens. Throughout this video, when I'm kind of doing this, the foundation, I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it does take a little bit of time, so it doesn't this is sped up about 2 times, so it goes a little bit faster this way. I like a very heavy coverage. I mean, you can see my skin. I do have redness and some sunspots slash blemishes, and I just like a heavier coverage. The great thing about airbrush makeup is that it is buildable. If you have, you know, not a lot of blemishes, you can probably go through it just one little swipe through, and but me, I like a heavier coverage, so it takes me a little bit. But I will say I love the finish of airbrush makeup when it's done. It lasts forever, like I said earlier. It lasts 16 plus hours. I mean, I've worn it for longer when we've been to weddings, and I've actually done the wedding at the makeup, or the makeup at the wedding. Beforehand I'll do mine, and then I will do the bridal party if I'm going to that wedding, and it's lasted a really long time. So, and again, like I said, it is sweat proof and water resistant, and it just feels so nice when it goes on. It just feels like a fine mist when you are putting it on. And they sell, they being Temp 2, they sell, smaller. You don't need to buy that big compressor like I have. Mine's a studio grade. I take that with me for, because I use it so often and do so many weddings, but they do sell smaller, more compact airbrush machines. Not even machines, little pods they're called, that, you know, fit into your hand. It's just like, you know, pretty tiny that you can take with you. It'll fit in your makeup bag. If you're interested in doing airbrush makeup just on yourself, you know, if, you know, for special events or something like that, they do offer those things now as well. It ends up being a little bit more expensive in the long run if you do it a lot. But again, I have a couple different compressors. I have more than one that I keep just because we do so many weddings. And I'm going through, there's some, like, I think I showed earlier, there was a spot where I kind of pointed out, you can, if you have blemishes, you can go in a little bit closer to get more coverage on those areas that you want more coverage. But where the brush is right now, it's just a very fine kind of coverage right now. If you want more, you just keep on airbrushing until you get the coverage that you want. And as you can tell, I like a lot of makeup. I have uneven skin tone, so it takes a little bit longer for me to kind of get the look that I want. But I will say that it's definitely worth it in the end. I like to go around the nose area too, where I have a little bit of redness. I have a couple different airbrush gun styles too. This one's a smaller one. I prefer a bigger one. I don't know why I didn't grab the right one, but I just went with it since I already started it, so. And I must be cleaning it out right now because I clean it out between foundation and blushes just so that there's no color mixing. It needs to be cleaned out between each and every color and each and every client as well. So it does take a little bit more time. I'm going to grab the blush and stick it in there. And I believe I used, let's see, I don't know. I think I used the blush. I think it's 040 is what it is in Temp2 brand. And the thing with the blush is you have to use it very sparingly. I like a lot of blush. When it comes to brides, it takes very, very little, especially if I'm using a more bright pinkish color. I'm using more, the blush, the color that I'm using now is more of a bronzy color, more got a little more red in it, I guess. But a little bit goes a long way. So a lot of times when I am doing clients, I'll do a little bit on the cheeks and then let it set for a couple minutes and then get the true color. And then if I want more, I can add more. And again, as I said earlier, if I want to add powder blush over this to set it, I can do that too. So there are a lot of little tricks to make it look perfected and get the color that you want. And I'm just kind of going through and giving myself a little bit more color just with the rest of whatever's in that cup of the blush. I like to add warmth, and I'm going down and kind of chiseling out my jawbone here, which you can contour, which is really, really nice with airbrush. You can do pretty much anything with this. You know, you can actually do eyeshadow too. I just choose not to because I feel like I have better control with my brushes when I'm doing eyeshadow. But I'm going back with the brush and kind of blending that contour under the jawline there so it doesn't look so harsh. And that is my look. That is the look with just the, oh, nope, I lied. I forgot. I'm doing the highlight. And that highlight color is 050 in Pink Pearl. That's a silicone-based color as well. Which all that means is basically that it's, you know, sweat-proof and water-resistant. And the highlight I touched on very lightly. You don't want to put too much on because you'll end up looking plasticky. You don't want too much shine either because you want your pictures to look really nice without looking like you've got plastic on your face, or you want it to look as fresh and flawless as it can. And again, with the airbrush, when I'm done, I always go through and kind of blend if I need to, and set it with a very good high def setting powder so that it stays all day. And you need minimal touch-ups with airbrush makeup. Generally, when you're done, you're done. So that is it for the airbrush makeup. Okay guys, well I hope that you liked that video. I popped out, I only did makeup on, when I do airbrush makeup, I only do the primers and the foundation and the blush. And I do a little bit of highlighter. As you can see, I do add a little bit more of a powder afterwards, just so it doesn't get too shiny on the face. Sometimes it'll appear shiny if you put too much of the airbrush highlighter on. And depending upon how much the bride or the client wants, I'll go back and maybe add a little bit more blush on the with powder. And then again, obviously I do the eyeshadow with powder and things like that, so in the eyeliner, mascara. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.